Mr. Legault is more and more isolated in this idea that we shouldn't have a public inquiry. And I think he probably realizes that this is becoming more of this brings more pressure on him. So I'm really hoping that he's going to see the light and say, you know, we need to have this independent inquiry. When we look at what happened in the CHSLD, when you look at the information that was available to the government Legault, obviously the Premier did not react when he was supposed to. When his government knew that there were things that he was supposed to do, he didn't act, and it just raises more questions for the second wave, the third wave, and fourth wave. So that's what I think. He's going to get more and more isolated.
On that, if I may, speaking about being pragmatic, when at the very beginning of this crisis, back in January 2020, some managers sent emails to the government saying it's getting from bad to worst, it's going to be a big storm here, a cataclysm, and nobody apparently got the message or did something with it. So speaking about pragmatic, I have a very pragmatic question for Mr. Legault. What do you have to hide? Why don't you want to answer questions about the courses of actions that you took at this moment, now that we know, because of some work from some journalists in Quebec, that you had some very, very important warnings at the very beginning of the crisis? So that would be pragmatic as well, to give us the chance to have answers on that.
Just one word about that. In one way, it's kind of surprising that the Premier does not want to lead and put forward an inquiry on what happened in the past almost 2 years. When you think about his profile as a business person, you know, when you lead an operation, you need to have a review of what went well and what went wrong in order to learn for further projects. And he wants to lead Quebec like a business person, but doesn't want to give any information on what happened to the shareholders, Quebecers, and that's unacceptable. So that's why we're asking him to be a man of state and make the only decision that needs to be made is to call for a complete inquiry. And if he's so proud of what he did, then why hesitate?
When we saw what was happening in the CHSLDs, there were lots of people who said, oh my God, I will never send my parents to one of those homes, right? Like there was kind of what is the word that I'm looking for? A reckoning, maybe, like there's something really going wrong here. Would this commission that you're asking for look into how things might have changed, or if things are still as bad in the CHSLDs today?
Is the question whether, had we started an inquiry sooner, we would have been able to change some of the things afterwards? Is that your question?
Yeah, like do you want to look into, did we learn anything, or have things changed in CHSLDs? Can we feel comfortable sending our parents there now?
Absolutely. These are the questions that a public inquiry would need to answer. And the things that could have changed, and that's also why we wanted to have a public inquiry in the middle of the pandemic, because we knew that some of the decisions or some of the learnings could be applied further along during the following months. So most definitely we would hope to get those answers.